Hey, Chris Lipe here. I don't think I've ever gotten more requests for a single video on other videos than I have for this video.
Run away, you.
One OK Rock, make it out alive. Lots of you in your comment requests said, man, Taka is just at the top of his game with his grit and his expression. And many of you want tips on how to start to get there with your own voice. And that's what I love to do on this channel. I haven't seen this video yet, so you're going to be witnessing my first time reaction. But I'm also, as I get inspiration, going to be experimenting a little with my own voice, listening to what he's doing and try to put some of it into what I do. Am I going to sound like Taka? No, but I might, after experimenting, sound like a better version of myself. If you'd like more help doing that very thing, sounding like a better version of yourself when you sing, after all, this is a singing channel, click the link below and join my free voice course, and I'll help you start to do that. All right, let's get into this.
Run away, you. Don't pull the route from. Nowhere to go, no road is after run. I was born with horns. Demons couldn't shake me up. Bring it on, 'cause we haven't had enough.
Sizzly, right on the edge of more breakup, vulnerable, powerful but not overdone, fantastic tone. This is compression. I've talked about compression on a lot of videos. This is compression at its best, and he's right in the middle of his upper chest range. He's very comfortable in this area of his voice, allowing him to lean in and push into it while actually holding back air and energy, and that's where that compression comes from. Let's go back. Oh, even the first line of the song was just incredible.
Run away.
Let's start by thinking about the exits. Listen to what he's doing at the end of those phrases.
Run away.
There's this letdown, there's this release. Believe it or not, that's a huge clue into how he gets his nice compressed grit.
Run away.
Now, let's get into it. Just start by getting the pitch. Run away! That little section. Now let's add that little release at the end. Run away! We're releasing our air. And so we're actually feeling out in our body what it means to contain or compress or hold back and then let go. It's by observing this contrast that we're able to get into the compression better at the start of the phrase. Then we're going to think about holding back air. And the best way to think about holding back air is to lift something heavy or think about lifting something heavy. You're going to feel yourself want to drop in pitch, but don't let it. Instead, let your voice continue to crack as you lift something heavy over that pitch. And then sigh out of it. You can hear through the imperfections what's happening. I'm getting that little clean but not clean sort of breakup. As I get into it, clean, lift something heavy, and then sigh out of it. Run away!
Nowhere to go, no road is after run. I was born with horns. Demons couldn't shake me up. Bring it on, 'cause we haven't had enough.
What's so interesting is that as he's singing on, you get this sense that he has this super consistent grit or this super consistent tone. But if you listen a little closer, you realize that it's really inconsistent. Yeah, he's got consistency in his overall tone, but in terms of how much grit or rasp or intensity is present in any one note, it varies like crazy. And that's a huge part of his sound. That's a huge part of what Chester Bennington's sound was. That's a huge part of what most singers who are able to be aggressive like this do. Listen for the inconsistency. Listen for the sighs in and out. Listen for the lighter notes. Listen for him leaning into a particular resonance. It's not dirty the whole time. There's these crossing over into dirty and then backing off into clean. It's a wonderful sound. That last hook right there. Listen again. How he cleans up on a live, but also listen to how he brings his resonance back. We've got this very forward, yes, compressed, like I talked about at the beginning. Make it out alive. I'm exaggerating this, of course, but we don't have make it out alive. The posture changes, the placement changes. Listen again here. We gotta make it alive. Alive. Since I have that like right in my forehead, and I'm practicing that compression, that light compression, make, and then make is like long. Make it out alive. You hear how I'm moving the resonance around? Some are like punching me in the forehead. Some I'm experiencing the notes back in this area, back of my head, nasal. Part of that is how I'm choosing to shape the vowels, but a big part of it is how I'm choosing to experience each note. Each note is a unique experience. If I think that way as a vocalist, and if I listen to other vocalists, especially guys like Taka, because he does that, right? If I listen to other vocalists with the intent of having an experience, a unique experience per note, that's going to infiltrate into the way I sing, because I'm going to craft different experiences for myself as I arc my vocal performances. Tonight, I'm screaming on the inside. Okay, we have to talk about that first tonight. Okay, notice he cleans it up as he goes down, but there's this sense of a growl. This is not just compression anymore. This isn't tonight. We're not just adding a little bit of compression. He's growling into it, which if you do this in little bits, perfectly fine. You wouldn't want to live here all the time, but this is more of a You could think about a little bit of Cookie Monster, or you hear guys like Louis Armstrong do this a lot. For one note. Tonight! A little bit of compression there. Now I'm going to growl into it. Tonight! And then I'm going to add the compression. Did you hear that? Tonight! At the very beginning of that note. He's doing a little higher. Tonight! Tonight! There's that at the very beginning, and you lead into it and then take that compressed posture and then lean back out of it and clean it up. Again, be very fluid and liquid with your voice, and you'll increase your stamina, your ability to get through a song or multiple songs, and you'll also make things more interesting. Again, that's why we like Taka's voice so much. There's lots of things going on note by note. He brought that back with screaming on the inside and then cleaned it up. Tonight, I'm screaming on the inside. I was trying to hide. Now I'm ready for this ride. Ooh. Hear that sigh? Great singers sigh. It's just the way it is. Learn how to build sigh into your voice. Build up that pressure and release. Pressure and release. Make that a warm-up. If you're looking to sing great, learning how to sigh well is a prerequisite.
I try to hide now. I'm ready for this one. Gotta face the unknown. It's the only way to live. I'm ready to go somewhere I've never been.
Loved that. Listen to how he put everything together that we've been talking about.
Ready to go somewhere I've never been.
Never been. I'm doing it a little differently each time, but it's really cool to take all these little things like he's doing and put them together in your own voice. Compressed, never clean been. Sigh out of it. There's so many things happening, so many different postures going on in that little tiny section. When was the last time you, as a vocalist, tried putting all those little things back to back to back to back like this?
Only way to live. I'm ready to go somewhere I've never been.
And he's squeaking into head voice too, right? Like, A lot of times we think of our head voice as something that's, it's weak. It's something that I use when I can't hit particular notes because they're too high for me to sing in chest voice. He's accessing his head voice fairly regularly in the form of releasing into it with these sighs. He's not afraid of his head voice at all. He's not afraid of the potential vulnerability that might expose in his voice. It actually makes his voice feel more connected because he's not afraid to sigh or release up into it.
Somewhere I've never been. Won't give up the fight. Make it.
You heard that release into that sigh again on that last note. Listen. You hear it on those woes too. Listen. Whoa! Whoa! Some people give me a hard time for making a bunch of noises and pathetically imitating the vocalists I go through and break down. But I'm telling you, this is the way to learn. I'm here to learn and to help you learn through the appreciation of masterful voices like Taka's. If you can't let go enough to suck or to try things that might feel or sound stupid with your voice, it's just going to feel like magic and a complete mystery to you. Now, Taka's got a lot of this stuff down to where it's second nature, but I guarantee you that he got there to where this is second nature and he doesn't have to think about all this stuff by being free and experimental and non-judgmental with his voice. It's the only way to get there. Do you notice how on Be All Right, when he's going up to that pitch, he lightens up. He doesn't push or strain for it. Listen again.
Don't give up, it's gonna be alright.
If I were to really exaggerate his placement and his lightening up, gonna be alright. Hear what I did? I didn't go, gonna be and try to reach for that note. I let myself be a little lighter. Maybe I even, as I'm dialing this in, let myself go into head voice, pure head voice. Gonna be alright. Let myself experience what it feels like to navigate those pitches and then lean in with compression like I talked about at the beginning once I'm already up there, rather than trying to get thick and then go up. Gonna be alright. Notice how I was light on B and I got a little heavier on all right. I'm already up there and light and free and not straining. So hitting that higher note isn't as big of a deal. And you can hear Taka doing that very same thing. I love this sort of halftime, slow down feel. It really amps up the anticipation for where the song's going next. It's a wonderful arranging strategic move here in this song. We have to talk about the support vocals or the background vocals too. His lead vocal or main line is super strong, varied, all the things we've been talking about. But it sits the way it does in this mix because of the harmonies. Some are dissonant, some are right in there and harmonious, and some are doubles, an octave lower, and there's this width of placement happening in the mix. There's also a lot going on in terms of reverbs and effects and different EQ for these background vocals that paint this auditory picture that spans across and sits just in where those vocals need to be for this mix. If we didn't have all of those other helping vocals, supportive vocals, his lead line would not be quite as fitting. It wouldn't have as much of a place in this mix. This is really important to keep in mind when we're evaluating our own sound in light of a fully produced track like this. Even if we're getting close in some ways to these techniques, if we're not measuring our own progress in the same types of contexts that these vocalists are, finished mixes with lots of background vocals and great processing and production, it can ignite this massive amount of judgment and discouragement in our own voices. So keep that in mind. He's pretty consistent with that inconsistent way he approaches that hook. That alive, alive. So much more interesting than a static approach. Fantastic vocal performance, production, writing, arranging. What a great song. What a great hook. Just remember, Taka has a massive amount of talent. He's very good at what he does. There's a lot of natural ability there, I'm sure. But you can tell he has worked and introspected, experimented, played freely with his voice on a level that not many people have. This is, I believe, the main reason his voice is so amazing. And this is actually good news. Because if we take some of the things that now he's naturally doing and experiment in our own voice with some of these playful methods, yeah, it's not going to sound that great in the beginning, but it's the beginning of a journey that is going to help you unlock all sorts of things with your voice. So be inspired, not discouraged, as you appreciate and dig in to the wonderful, juicy, varied textures inside Taka's voice. Hope I've helped you see that a little bit in this video. I've done a few other videos on One OK Rock. Be sure you've checked those out on my channel. And again, if you'd like more help experimenting with your voice, click that link below and join my free course. We'll see you for more.